Hi everyone. What is this video about? This video is going to be about FIIs. What are the FIIs doing? What are they buying? How much have they bought? How much have they sold? Is it of concern? And as investors, value investors, what does this all mean? Hopefully by the end of this video, I'll give you some clarity on this. Other than that, a lot of you have been asking me, where is this so-called 52-week group? If you use Instagram, I'm not saying all of you use Instagram. I understand not all of you use Instagram. I am created this group on Instagram. If you go into my handle, under my handle, you find this group called 52-week challenge. You can click and join the group. And whenever I put any messages and any conversations we have, it will come as a notification in your chat in Instagram. And you can read it in your leisure when you have the time, when you have the bandwidth to read. So that's about it. Why did I create this? Why can't I have this on YouTube chat or whatever, or YouTube community? It's just to filter out the bots, the amount of bots promoting all kinds of nonsense from crypto and all that other crap. And also to keep out all the haters, because people out of sheer boredom go around commenting on other people's comments and spewing hate. So I try to make it into a lot of hurdles to get there. If someone really wants to get inside and hate us, they'll have to put a lot of effort. Usually haters tend not to do that. So these are the reasons why I've created such a convoluted, complicated way for us to have a conversation genuinely about investing. It's not about politics. It's not about anything other than me and you trying to learn together on how to find better opportunities to invest and grow wealth. And that's all it is. There's no secret sauce there. So don't feel, if you don't have the time, if you don't have Instagram, please do not download Instagram and install it. There's no secret list which we're talking about. There's no secret knowledge which is there, which you're missing out. Don't have FOMO about this. Okay, if you don't join also, whatever I'm talking there is auto, what I'm talking here, there's no secret over there. So don't worry about it. I'm not asking you to join there. If you're already there and you have time to spare, join. That's about it. It's just an open invitation. So I don't want later on people saying, why didn't you tell us? So this is why I keep throwing it out there. It is not to create more noise over there, right? So I wanted to get that out there. So getting back to the FIIs. FIIs have sold so far 2 trillion rupees. For those of you who do not understand what a trillion is, I strongly suggest you take out your calculator and add zeros. 3 zeros, you'll get to 1,000. Another 3, you'll get to 1,000,000. You add another 3, you get to 1 billion. Then you add another 3, you get to 1 trillion. Yes, 1 to the power of 12. Anand's off camera. Right, he's getting ready to do his videos. So he's watching and listening, making sure I don't talk nonsense. So 1 to the power of 12. But anyway, 2. Followed by 12 zeros. That's a colossal amount of money which they've taken out. And a lot of you are wondering why. Well, we've spoken why. And to explain why it's just not China, so I wanted to highlight on why this happens. There are various aspects to this. One which is happening is, like my brother has said in multiple videos, it's the US bond yield. While the interest rates were low, India is looking very attractive. Even emerging markets were looking attractive. Now that Uncle Sam is willing to pay more per dollar in the US itself, when he'll take all things considered, sometimes it just makes sense keeping money in the US Treasury. Even Warren Buffett has taken a lot of cash out of the market and he's saying, I'll just keep it in treasuries because it's offering me fantastic return. As they say, cash is king. So the bond yield, the American government issued bonds are offering very attractive interest rates. So a lot of investors are taking it back to US and plugging in there if it meets their requirement in investment. The second is there's something known as huge investment banks. Morgan Stanley is a very big one and it's a very famous one. They have something known as the composite index, which is something emerging markets from different countries plugged into this composite scheme which they have, where American investors, foreign investors can passively invest into the global market and make better returns. This is what the MSCI is, Morgan Stanley Capital International. So they invest in markets around the world in different countries. And as of 31st October, they were 18.84%. India, which was third, and Taiwan was 19.05, which was second, and China, the top dog, was 27.38. This was on October 31st. I think that has changed now. India has moved to second place. This is why you saw a sudden inflow of almost 9,000 crores worth of cash being pumped into the Indian market this week. And a lot of you suddenly thought the FI has taken a turn. They're all dumping China because what Trump is saying. Please realize something. Markets don't pay too much attention to politicians, especially when they're not in the seat of power as yet. And especially when they're projecting somewhere in the future that they will do something. Because historically, politicians say a lot of things. Finally, governing is something else. We've seen this across the world multiple times. So the reason why markets move is only like what my brother says, for 2 reasons. One is earnings, the other is economic conditions. And those two things have not changed in India fundamentally. And till those two things change fundamentally, you're not going to see the FIIs running into Indian capital market in any great speed. Right. The other thing is, what is causing the FIIs to leave India is the dollar is strengthening. As soon as Trump got elected, the US dollar is getting stronger, the Indian rupee is getting weaker. So the return which they get from the Indian market is not as attractive as it was maybe a year or two ago. So they're pulling money out. This is the other reason. So what has the net result from all this? The Nifty is down by 8% from its all-time high. So what does that mean to us? Should we worry? Well, you should not worry, right? If anything, these things are noise, as I always say and my brother says. What is happening on broader market? What is happening in a global level? What are the FIIs doing? If anything, we have our list of companies which we are interested in. If the FII is pulling out this and the market having jitters creates opportunities in our list, we should be considering and moving in those lists, and that too at different coffee ranges. A lot of you keep saying, can I have buffet now? No, please don't have buffet. One person even commented saying, sir, I'm starving myself waiting to have a big meal. Please do not starve yourself to have a big meal because you'll end up dying. Right? My brother famously said, markets can remain far more irrational than you can remain solvent or liquid. So you could be sitting and waiting for a pretty long time. And time is finite. Money and time and all these things are finite. So you could be waiting even 10 years for this big meal. And what are you going to do after that? So don't be crazy like that. As my brother is always saying, invest in different coffee ranges. When you see opportunities, when you see value, keep buying them. Like even in the case of Suzlon in the last video when I had spoken, why I said if you are there, you should exit. Some of you feel it's a multi-bagger because you bought it at 2 rupees and now it's valued at that. Fabulous that you managed to buy it at 2 rupees. But are you going to see Suzlon doubling and tripling from here or even 10 times? No, I don't think so. And if you are of the opinion it's going to go up to more multi-baggers from here, you understand something which I don't understand. So I would love to have that conversation with you. If I had put 2 rupees in Suzlon and it's become multi-bagger, I would definitely look at exiting my position, putting my money working somewhere else. That's me. Anyway, that opinion I wanted to get out there. So what has also been very keenly interesting is the FIIs have been buying more in the NSE market and less in the BSE market. So that also shows they're looking at quality stocks because NSE is not as big as the BSE. BSE has a very low hurdle to enter listing. NSE has a much higher bar for listing. So it's easier to list companies in the BSE than compared to NSE. So this kind of trivial data shows that they're also looking at this and they're looking at companies which have little more of value than just buying any sundry which is being listed in the Indian market. They're not gambling here. That is what I wanted to tell you. And like I said, the main reason why the FIIs will only take a U-turn is if we see any intervention from our government. If our economy has any kind of intervention from the government, because we have been in a slowdown, not 1 quarter, not 2 quarters, many quarters, the economy has slowly been coming to a grind. So the government will finally intervene. Any government and every government doesn't want to lose face and doesn't want the population to suffer. Some governments do faster, some governments do slower, but eventually everybody gets their act together. So when that does happen, the FIIs will take cue on that. That's the same reason they ran to China. Xi Jinping took a sweet time to do that intervention, and when he promised intervention, you saw what happened. Same way when Indian government finally does decide to do something and they show the scope of it, then of course FIIs will reconsider what they're doing here in India. So another curious thing which you should see is in 2021 financial year, the FIIs put 2.74 trillion rupees in the primary market. If you had seen that video which I had discussed with Dana, what is the difference between a primary market and the secondary market? Primary markets are your IPOs, QIPs, and preferential deals which happen, right? They're not in the secondary market. Me and you, being retail investors and value investors, we buy in the secondary market, meaning people have already bought a share and we are exchanging it amongst ourselves. Primary market is when you buy it from the company itself. So they've taken 2.74 trillion rupees and they've invested in the primary market in 2021. And a lot of it is being sold in financial year 2024, around 2.08 trillion, which shows you the amount of profit they've taken out of the Indian market. So if you have bought something in the IPO in 2021 and you have bought preferential shares and quips in 2021 and you're seeing a huge return in it, and like I said, you're seeing dollar where it is going and where the yield of treasury yield is going. Of course, if you were also a value investor of sorts, of having a lot of money sitting on the table in the Indian market, and you do calculations, you would also look at taking that money out. And the last thing which I want to hit on is, where is all FIIs holding standing right now. They still have around $824 billion in the Indian capital market as of November 15th, right? The FIIs still have around $824 billion. I'm not talking rupees, I'm talking in dollars, so don't get confused. Don't immediately think, oh, you said trillion they sold, now this only in billion. That was in rupees, this is in dollars. So those of you who are really interested in maths, add a 0 and multiply it by 8 if you want to go on the lower side. Otherwise, be honest and multiply it by 84 or wherever the rupee is today, and that will give you an idea on the amount of rupees which is still there, they're holding in the Indian market. And like I said, they're buying and they're selling in Indian markets. So somewhere when you're talking about buying and selling, just last month, they invested a hell of a lot of money in SpiceJet. When Ajay Singh wanted to raise some capital, he took a chunk of his holding. He had 37% on July 2024. September 2024, his 37.48% is down to 22.9%. And the FIIs in June 2024 had a total percentage holding in SpiceJet of 1.8%. That has gone up to 22.87%. I think it's even gone up further now, and it's sitting at 22.87 is what they're holding. So they do buy, they do make deals. So I'm not asking you to buy SpiceJet, right? Please don't get confused. I'm not asking you to consider SpiceJet. Aviation industry, like my brothers told you, is a very sick and very tough industry to make money. Their calculations are very different than ours. So keep that in mind. I'm not asking you to consider aviation stock or aviation industry or SpiceJet at all. Please, please, please. This is just information I'm giving you on how FIIs buy and sell. There are lots of other companies they've been dipping into, so you can understand it's just not SpiceJet. They've been looking at companies such as Cholamandalam Financial Holdings, Inox Wind, Bajaj Healthcare, Tips Music, Mysore Petrochemicals, RS Software India, Lupin, LT Foods, Newgen Software Technologies, Radiant Cash Management Services. See, so there's a lot of companies FIIs move and buy stocks in, and they have different reasons to buy. And the promoters and the FIIs have certain negotiations and some deals into place. Like Anand has said famously about how Warren Buffett saved Harley Davidson way back. So there are reasons for these things. So never look at FII data and buy stocks or take them into consideration. Like I said, keep your list, keep your values, and invest on this. This is what I wanted to get out to you today. And like I said before, I've told you where I am on Instagram. You can come and catch me there if you want to have a conversation with me or everyone else who's there. Thanks for watching the video today. Do stay safe out there. The bad weather in Chennai has still not left. If anything, it's dragging its feet like our market is, and it might land up on us this weekend. So do be safe out there and take care for all of you in Tamil Nadu especially. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.
Hey guys, that my uncles Vinod Srinivasan, Anand Srinivasan and I have rolled out our Substack, which is basically a blog/newsletter where we're going to post our original research onto it, and we've analyzed macroeconomic trends. And a lot of you know my uncle Anand Srinivasan and I regularly write for The Hindu, and these articles are also going to be made available for you in the Substack. The link is moatinvesting.substack.com. You'll find it in the description and in the video right now. We hope you go check it out. We've put a lot of time and effort into it. And please give us comments and feedback on what you read. Thank you.